Good morning. Nothing is working this morning, but now it is working. Welcome to the Poetry Studio. My name is Joseph, and here we celebrate all things poetic on Twitch. I got myself my morning coffee. I managed to get everything set up on time generally. It was like a minute or two over, and then boom, no cameras. I don't understand what happened with that. We'll have to fix the other camera too. But it is good to be here. There we go. Yeah, I'm getting after it early. Indeed, I made a vow to myself, not dissimilar to Gaval Abercon's vow, that I would not be late to things anymore. So what's happening is now I'm on time to things, but unprepared. No, it's more that it's just really changing that mindset of trying to be present to things when they're supposed to begin. I had a really rough experience this past weekend where, frankly, I probably lost out on a bunch of money because I was late to something. Not that money's the end all be all, but it's more so that it's just one of those things you want to make sure you get on time to things. It's a good habit. And so I have been attempting to hit the stream button to start at 7. So I also have to adjust our theme this morning, which is going to be capture, which can go many different ways, because we can capture an idea, we can capture something in a photo or a video, we can also capture the imagination of someone in a poetic commission. And so this morning, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be showing a video from my friend Cornell Kasuth, who has made a little video about his commissions, and we're going to be kind of celebrating that, which is going to be really awesome, actually. I got to make sure my phone is all hooked up so that I can double check the... where is it? Make sure to double check that the stream is working when I switch screens. You can hear my dog pitter-pattering in the background. I hope it's a cute little sound, but I want to wish a good morning to everybody tuning in now and hereafter on the Poetry Studio show. We seem to be getting a lot of views after the fact on Twitch. Like my numbers are seeing like 25, 24, 26, 27, which is a really good sign. So it means that a lot of people must be watching this after the fact and must be bearing through the technical issues that are happening when these streams start. So I want to thank everybody on the replay, because I do think that we have a replay audience, which is contrary to what I had imagined would be the case. But we are here, and we are ready to do some poetry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to our my YouTube, and we're going to watch a short video from my friend Cornell Kasuth. And first we're going to bring down our we're going to pause this. There we go. And bring that over to here. Control 4. What the heck? Did it close out that screen again? Hold on. If I go here, Control 4. Oh, okay. You all get to see my my screen. I must be doing something. Is it control? Maybe no.
Good morning. My name.
All right. We're ready. And here we go.
Good morning. My name is Cornell Kossuth, also known as the Poetry Busker. I usually work in London on the banks of the River Thames, and I am this week's featured poet by my very esteemed colleague Joseph Duplessis, also known as the Walking Wall Poet. Joseph asked me whether I could do a short video on poetry commissions, which is sort of, a topic that's really important at the moment, because first received a poetry commission, I tried to find out as much as possible about the people.
Yeah, we're going to pause this and we're going to rewind this. I think that there's an issue with the volume, so let's get this volume issue figured out. Thank you all for bearing through the technical issues of setting up this stream. I know why the volume is low. There we go. Thank you very much for that correction. All right.
Good morning. My name is Cornell Kossuth, also known as the Poetry Busker. I usually work in London on the banks of the River Thames, and I am this week's featured poet by my very esteemed colleague Joseph Jablonski, also known as the Walking Mall Poet. Joseph asked me whether I could do a short video on poetry commissions, which is sort of, a topic that's really important at the moment, because commissions are what is keeping a lot of us alive when we can't actually go out and bask, either due to the weather or due to the coronavirus. So here is my short take on how I approach poetry commissions. I hope you enjoy it. So this is my poetry notebook in which I write all my poems. When I first receive a poetry commission, I try to find out as much as possible about the people that this poem is for. So this poem was for two Star Wars fans, and we see here May the 4th, Star Wars. They were going to get married, but because of the pandemic, they couldn't, and so they asked for a poem written by me to celebrate their love and to also be read at their hand fasting ceremony, which they were going to do instead of the marriage. Now you can see I've written at the top here a few notes about each of the people that this poem is going to be about. And that's really important to get as much of an idea, I find, as possible. And you can see I've ticked off some of the things that I've built in. I don't always end up doing using all of the information. It does depend very much on where the creative flow goes. A lot of poems start this way, as a note. As I'm thinking of the ideas, lines come to me, or certain things, just word combinations. So the other person in this poem was Louise, and so I wanted the poem to end on blue easily, which has Louise in it. And then I go on about actually writing the poem, as you can see here. Now this is a rhyming poem. It's got a rhyme scheme. I also had a syllable count, which I wrote here just to remind me of what to do. And it's turned out to be a fairly long poem. So it goes over the page here, and you can see, of course, various reworkings. This is the first stanza again. Sorry, no, this is the last one with the blue easily at the end. After I've written the whole poem, I tend to then do a first typed version, and you can see here I still, apart from correcting typos, I'm still working on various parts, lines that don't work. In this case, the end product of the commission was a typed up poem that I then sent to the pair. They very kindly asked me whether I would be present at their hand fasting ceremony to read the poem out loud, which I then did, and so that was very touching for me to be invited to share that special day with the two of them, having created this poem for them. Even more elaborate commissions all start in this notebook. So this is the one I did for Joseph, which was a poem about London, and he'd asked for it to be done more decoratively, and so I had the idea of putting it on a London map and then illustrating it with drawings reminiscent of Blake. Now I don't have that to show you here, but I do have another commission that I did, which was similarly illuminated and done with pictures. And this revolves around, as you can see, the little prince. We've got the fox here, drawn in the style of Saint-Exupéry, and with a more realistic fox here. We've got a lady and a unicorn based on the unicorn tapestries in Paris, where also these flowers come from. So that all keys into the poem and also the personality of the person for whom this commission was done. You've got the fox here in the wheat fields and the sort of little prince, caged bird, shrews, animals. And these all relate to the taming, the topic of the poem, with the falcon here. And then just a bit of sort of patterned embellishment here. So that is all possible to have your poem done in this sort of much more elaborate style. I hope that was an interesting, if somewhat short, introduction to how I approach poetry commissions and what is possible from a typewritten poem all the way to a more elaborate illuminated design. Do please look me up on Instagram at Poetry Busker or on Facebook as The Poetry Busker. Thank you very much to Joseph for allowing me some airtime on his show, and goodbye and take care.
The Poetry Busker. Man, when I first watched this video, I was absolutely awestruck by what I've seen as the second illuminated poem of his, which, if we go back to here, just to show it, the beautiful drawings of the fox, the combination of the art. Tell me, it makes me feel like that my stuff is put to shame with this, but I love showing the diversity of the poetry that is out there, how we can take mere words and absolutely just make them into something so much more than themselves. And so I didn't really have a poem to be read. And by the way, we will be getting to see the poem that he was talking about. No, that's not it. This one here, which was the one commissioned. I actually had commissioned for my wife, a celebration of London from the view of South Bank, since it's one of her favorite spots. But one of the things I wanted to do before we left is I was looking at this one again, the Star Wars poem, and I was just looking at the last stanza, which I just thought was a really cool stanza, because there's so much in this poem, and you could see how packed it is as a commission. And what's so interesting is we were looking at poetry from, we were looking at some poetry from the Poetry Fox, and the Poetry Fox is, I think he would probably do a commission that's a little longer, but his typical poems for his busking are these little short blips, very free verse, very eclectic. Here we have, on the very much the other spectrum, a very well-structured traditional poem. Cornell's a very traditional poet in a lot of ways, very much in rhyming schemes and the structure. But I love how he can take that very very modern, dare I say it, postmodern themes of Star Wars, and be able to deeply integrate them into the traditional structure. So this last stanza here on this one, like when you're fighting for the galaxy, alone and harried, without a team or crew, a whistling droid your only surety, a voice to calm inside your head. Umbrellas, I gotta make sure I get this. Umbrellas you for the task ahead. Together sure you'll blow the complex in two. Like when you're fighting for the galaxy, alone and harried, without a team or crew, a whistling droid your only surety, a voice of calm inside your head. Umbrellas you for the task ahead. Together sure you'll blow the complex in two. And I don't want to discount the fact that probably relates in a very deep way to all the other stanzas of the poem. But that one, to me, as a Star Wars fan myself, the older Star Wars really stood out as a cool line. So I want to thank you again, Cornell, for featuring this. It'll be great because people will be able to kind of rewatch this on the YouTube channel. And I don't know if this is as an unlinked video, but if it's not, we'll make sure to share the full video on Instagram as well as in other places. Twitcher Alex says, I'm really happy and excited to see other poets, creators making appearances and doing things for your channel. It's wonderful. Absolutely. I think the big thing is going to be getting the word out now, and making sure that all of our audiences know each other. And potentially altering the time of the stream. I have really reached that point where I'm ready to start thinking about altering the time of the stream because it's so early. It's so early, and I really want it to be something that people can feel like that they can enter into. Um, so let me bring back our background audio as we continue this morning's conversations. I did actually get the chance to check out my first uh, just chatting stream that I really liked. Not too on yesterday while I was working, and it was this guy that was doing positivity and encouragement for people that were struggling with mental health issues right there on Twitch. It was the wildest thing to see. You're sitting there and people are diving into the chat and they're talking about how they lost this or that relative or they're feeling rejected because of a relationship challenge and things like that. And this guy is just, as quickly as he can talk, he is spreading joy and love. And I was like, wow, this is great. It's a Just Chatting channel. The challenge I've been starting to struggle with, and this is something I've been thinking about diving into the Discord on in Akira Don's Discord, or generally any Discord, is Discord inflation, community inflation. I love being part of so many communities, but there's not enough time in the day, and I have to actually like make money and do things and stuff like that. It was Papa Paws was the name of the channel. I think it was called Papa Paws. Yeah, I'm looking it up now. Yeah, Papa Paws was the name of the channel. He had like about 30 people in there, so it wasn't a wild amount. He said he plays video games on other days, but it was a good channel. I was impressed with what he was doing. So I got my morning coffee here. So yeah, so it's one of those things that I'm thinking about how to balance all that. But balance, I've even been told that balance is not a good word to be using by a poet friend. But we'll diverge from that, and we will be able to celebrate today's theme today, which is capture. So we saw that Cornell captures the amazing love of a couple in a galactic sense in those 5 or 6 stanzas, as well as the illuminated poetry that comes from commissions. And I want to encourage anybody out there that's watching this on the rerun or is watching this right now and lurking, that commissions are an amazing way to support artists during this time. You don't have to go and spend, $40 on a canvas that is a carbon reproduction of something from a story, even though you could do that. I mean, it adds beauty, but there's something very beautiful about the genuine. And I know that a lot of Akira the Don songs talk about spreading beauty, appreciating art, finding something in those works that is unique to you. And the great thing about commissions is they can be made unique to you. They can even become more unique. And not that a non-commissioned piece of art isn't also beautiful. So there's the capturing that way. But we also are going to be continuing on some poems for this wonderful bride that whose wedding had to be downsized because of the COVID restrictions. Today she wants some poems for her photographer and her videographer. I think this is going to be really fantastic. So we're going to get working on those. And if you have any ideas about capture, if you have any thoughts about commissions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Continue to keep the conversation going. Any inspiring thoughts? Anybody need any poetry out there? I'm more than glad to be able to write more poems for people. But yeah, let's get some stuff into the typewriter. Where's my paper? There we go. You've got a stream today. Oh wait, no, today's Tuesday. So I don't think you have a stream today, Disco. But you had a stream yesterday. I was on it for a little while. It was a fun time. Smashing things up with stream raiders. And Akira, of course, will have his stream. If you are tuning in on the replay, as a gentle reminder and encouragement, all the music that you're hearing on this stream are instrumentals and lo-fi beats from the artist Akira the Don. I may have some technical issues with the typewriter camera. Give me a second. Black screen of death. There we go. Whoa. Something happened there. There we go. Now we can fix it. There we go. Our typewriter cam, where all the typewriter magic happens. But now my face cam seems to be frozen. Indeed. There we go. Fixed. Woo! Great day. Woo. Disco. I now seeing your earlier comments, Disco. I thought I'd missed you. Twitcher Alex reminded me. Yeah, I mean, I'll send you a reminder if you want. I can integrate that into my getting on the stream routine. Now, here's the funny thing about poetry about photographers. Is I so often drift to that theme of capture. Believe it or not, I've titled several poems capture. Poetry about photographers is one of those few topics where it's very hard for me not to write the same poem, because every time I'm just fascinated by the idea that we can use the little black box to be able to capture a moment, capture an idea, capture a memory, 1,000 words. But here, while that theme will be prevalent, she wants to talk about this photographer duo during COVID. Oh, of course, Disco. Feel free to work and lurk. This is a work and lurk encouragement space. I love working and lurking, honestly, while streams are happening. Something talking about a photography duo during COVID. I spelled aperture, right? Aperture is one of those words where you think that you spelled it wrong when you look at it, when really you haven't. Nope, I spelled it completely wrong. I gotta restart that. Aperture. Because there's an R in there. Today you witnessed the poet misspelling. There you go. In case I will enshrine my failure for the world. Aperture, not aperture. Some typewriter. centered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Frankly, this stream is also my work and work. I'm not kidding. Like it's funny because like I think that a lot of other streams, like this is all about just having a seat while I'm doing the creative process. And frankly, if it were, and I really appreciate you guys being here. If there were nobody here, I'd still be doing this. I'd still be writing these poems, be figuring them out. And so the great thing about it is that anybody that ever does want to have the view into it, and then later on wants to review into it, it's all there. So it means a lot. Well, thank you. I think it's cool too. I do love seeing the ideas come together on the screen. And for me, what differs, and I can kind of say this because there's no writers in the building right now. What differs for me is that is when you're seeing someone doing like a novel writing. Like you got to commit to that. Like you got to be there, like for all their streams, and then it gets to be a really exciting thing because you're sitting there and you're watching as this whole novel develops. If no one was here, you would still do it. This is why I have to see it live. Thank you. That means a lot. So like with the writer streams, and I love them, and I have a lot of respect for them. They have to do like the whole. You got to really be there and committed to be seeing the whole novel if you really want to get into it. And then you have excitement about the whole novel. Like from NaNoWriMo, you follow one writer, streamer, and you just do that the whole time. But here, the great thing about it is each poem is its own contained element. So you sit for 15 minutes, you get to see the beginning, middle, and end of the creation. And frankly, that's also why I like writing poems. It's so easy for me to take an idea and bottle it up in a 5x7 paper, and just have that and be like, okay, here you go. And so it captures the excitement of the entire creative process without necessarily the length of time that a writer takes. In no way is that me saying it's better, it's just different. It all depends on what people want. And I know that there's a lot of people that have been tuning in very regularly to a lot of those other Twitch writers. And I have great respect for what they're doing. So, but I like my little contained poetry, ship in a bottle type of creation. And speaking of writers, we got Fitzinated in the building. Hello. I'm working on poetry about photographers working together this morning. We actually just had featured a short video. You should definitely check this out on the replay, Fitzinated. A short video about how a London-based busking poet does commissions and does illuminated poems with art in the margins and everything. I'm going to be showing one of his creations in person later on this week. Blue is in the typewriter today. Blue ink, I mean. Oh, there will be a repair stream, by the way, announcing for anybody. And today's repair stream is either going to be really exciting or really disappointing, because I have taken a typewriter's carriage and I have put the whole thing into pieces. Let me actually see if I can show you guys a picture of it. Because it would be really cool to show you guys. Oh, that's the wrong button. Wrong button. Here, I want to show you guys a picture right, hopefully it goes over. All right, I think that it worked. Hopefully you guys can see it. I can't tell if you can see it. But that is a typewriter that, if you look at it real closely, you're gonna see missing some parts. Look at that. Whole carriage is gone. So what's funny is the typewriter carriage, which is this part right here, usually can be removed. You could just take this whole, like the whole piece with the roller and everything, and you can take it off of the typewriter. However, with this one, they wouldn't let you do it. And there were some gremlins that were right inside here. This whole rail section had to be cleaned. I literally had to dunk some of these pieces down here. So what did I have to do? I had to literally remove everything. And I might even have a picture of that. Let me see. Yeah, it's basically in pieces. Now the thing is I may have lost a screw, and you're like, oh, you just lost a screw. Well, you know, one screw could really make life or death here. So I've got to see how that all turns out. But this typewriter, while it is a favorite of mine, and I think it cost me a little bit of a pretty penny, it's not the worst thing if it does not become a successful project, because I'm learning. You know, that's the most exciting thing about being a typewriter repair person and just growing in the art here. I'll actually be able to take a picture of all this right away. Photos. So if you want to see what that ends up looking like, this is everything without the screws. I just got to have it uploaded. It'll take only a second. And if I back out of this, there it is. Look at that. There are all of those pieces. Ignore the brush. Everything there is something that was taken off of that machine that has to be put back on that machine. So this is the endeavor I'm going to be attempting to complete, is this. So we will see how that all works out. All right. And that will be happening at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time today. Let's get back to this poem. And I'm really excited for that repair stream, honestly. I've streamed about that typewriter twice, and each time I have had it's just been a mess. Like each time I go to think I fixed it. So I literally had to tear the entire thing apart to fix it. But that's one of the exciting things. All right. That is perfectly okay if you miss it. But it's always recorded like everything else. And my hope is eventually to be able to turn some of those videos into tutorials. Whew, I really ran to the bottom here on this one. Well, it was a poem that required it. I regret nothing. And believe it or not, I'm going to do something I never do, which is I'm going to tag my handle. One, two, three, four, five, six. There we go. There's a certain duality that exists in this poem. A very much an it takes two type of mentality here. So I'll tag it on the back. Gotta type a little gently because I don't want it to bleed through. I will sign it. I just won't sign it now. Lens and film. Line up the shot. Tag team creating dream pixels together, with one tending to the couple and the other so increasing aperture, opening wide smiles with the image only love can bring. It takes Chu to show me the missing idea, Chu to bring light and shadow, Chu to remember the joy of that wedding bell chime. Behind and in front of that reflection, zoom into it and cherish each other. Love is always about creating together. The very glance your own camera eyes make is a shutter snapping me to attention. This is history, the crisis, the heroes, the brides and grooms. And we all need a picture to remember the million words we don't know how to say. Yeah, it's good. It hit on the head. At least I think it did pretty good for that. So. Lens and film is what I called it. Because again, there's a lot of duality. The Chu to show me, Chu to bring, Chu to remember. Yeah. Sometimes you forget that we're in the middle of a pretty big mess, you know? And then it comes and hits you all at once. Akira said he had like a moment like that a couple of days ago. Akira the Don is a live streaming DJ artist for anybody that doesn't know, but I keep saying that. I assume people know at this point, but that he was just like looking at his life and he just realized like something that he might have been missing or just had this realization about, you know, what it's like, where he's been, where he's come from, how he's gotten to where he is. And those last lines really got to me. And we all need a picture to remember the million words we don't know how to say. I don't know why it's gotten to me. I don't know. Well, yeah. Tortilla Alex put it best. He realized how far he's come and what he was able to accomplish, what he's been able to do with building his brand. And that's wonderful. That is, yeah, there's these moments that you look at something you create, and you have a realization of in that genre of things, either a look back and you go, wow, like I got myself here. Or like for me, for this one, it's a little different. And I think that's absolutely wonderful, and I remember celebrating it when he said it in the comments. But those words, and we all need a picture to remember the million words we don't know how to say. Like I guess like you operate in this pandemic. It's a pandemic, and you keep moving and you keep grooving, and we keep being positive, and none of that is bad. But it's a pandemic. Like you're like in the middle of it, and it's like a lot. I don't know where that all came from. Sometimes it gets to you. Well, anyway, it's a beautiful set of lines for me because there are a lot of things that I don't know how to say, even though I write a lot and do a lot of poetry, and people have helped say them for me. You know, 200 something live streams have helped me see the potential within myself. DJ communities have helped me celebrate the days and dance through them, like dancing in the rain. People's stories of overcoming things, like the whole point of this being 9 poems for a couple. This couple chose to write for a lot of their vendors. Like the first things that they list are their vendors before they start listing the family. Like that's kindness, because they know what the vendors are going through. It's just so much in a bit in the world. So I think that might be good for the stream. um, I really appreciate all of you being here, in here, celebrating, helping celebrate poetry and writing. If you are just jumping in, feel free to comment. Um, Fitznated said that really is so kind and thoughtful. Yeah, it is. It really is. And what it is so I have edited and unedited poems. So a lot of people can request an unedited poem. It's a little more money, an edited poem. It's a little more money because um, I go through a writing process, and we've seen it done here. I write, I edit, I show it to them. They come back, they tell me what they like. I come back to the stream. I say, they said this, this, and this, and and I edit. And so I offered that to her. I said, you could have this amount of poems that are edited for the money that you ended up giving me, or this amount of poems unedited. And they wanted more unedited poems because they wanted to try to spread as much as possible. And they were like, yeah, we trust you. And I really appreciate that trust. They're really superheroes. And all of us have so much superhero light inside. So, especially when you guys hang out here in the morning with me, I really appreciate it. So I want to so shout outs to everybody that was in the chat today, Fitznated, Twitch Hero Alex, and Disco, as always. You guys are awesome. If you ever want to see something on the stream, let me know. Shout it out if you think that this would be good or that would be good. Maybe Twitch Hero Alex, you and I will get to talk today. Who knows? We're both very busy bodies trying to keep the communities going and our arts going. And as always, you can follow me on Instagram, which is right here. Yep, right there. My Instagram handle. This airs at 7 a.m. every morning, and today at 3 p.m. EST, we're going to have a repair stream, which is very exciting. And I seriously am thinking about bumping the time that these streams are so that we can have more people that might be out there on Twitch be able to tune in and see the poetry and request poems and do stuff like that. Or maybe even adding a stream. Who knows? The potential is limitless. So thank you all so much, and you all have a wonderful day. And next I'll be hanging out in the Akira Don's morning show.